Hello, good to see you all. I am safe and well. Thank you for your concern yesterday. No wolf will ever defeat me. English writing. So, you're going to produce an information report on your chosen topic, on a chosen topic. I can use appropriate features of an information text or an information report in my independent work. Okay, it says down here, you may continue on the next page. So you have 2 pages to write this on. And if you need, if you need some examples of information reports and you're still not sure of what to look at, there is an electronic device that can help you with this. And you don't need to ask your parents for it either. I know, it's crazy. What a crazy world we live in. You click on this and you type in information report examples. Information report examples. You could have it for year 3, 4, 5, or 6 if you want. Let's go up a notch. It's painful. You go to images. Look, all these give you details of what information reports are like. What are information reports about? As you can see, they have heading, they have a actual heading, they have subheadings, and little bits about them. This one has pictures in it. You can use pictures and things, and information. There's so much on it. Here's one on Australia. Look, Australia, that's the heading, and down here, subheading is classification. So the classification, the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples were the first peoples to live in Australia. So it gives you different bits and pieces. It gives you examples. You can do it here. So see this button here? This one here, it says align. If you want it to go in the cursor, or the writing to go into the middle of the page, you click on the down arrow, and this button here is the center. So it goes to the very center of what you want to do. And let's say, I don't know, top of my head. I know I talk about cricket a lot, but that one just came to the top of my head. Why not? So cricket would be my heading. The subheading would be the game. Then I would go, and you can underline that as well. So underline, see? The underline button will work. It's a subheading, so it has to have 2 capitals, but the rest don't. Underline button. And I might, and did you notice in this report, that's the same size. Sometimes the subheadings are a bit bigger. Most of them they're not, so I'll keep it the same size. So I would write, the game of cricket has been around since the 1800s or 1700s and developed in England, blah, blah, blah. And then that'll be the blah, 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 blah. Then I go to the next subheading, which could be about the rules, underlined. So I forgot to click it, but if I wanted to click the underline button, I would write the rules. And you always got to remember to turn it off. Make sure you turn off that button there. Now, if you want to inflect your words, you use italics. If you want to make it stand out, so maybe I wanted it underlined and standing out, bold will make it bold. Okay, so that is the information report, and again, you've got the space here for the second page. Do not sell yourself out. Information reports aren't 3 lines. Look at all these ones. Look, every single one of these is huge. Look at all these reports. Look, they're massive. That is that report there, the one on koalas, is the level that we expect from about a year 4. This one on bikes, possibly year 3. So, dive deep into it. Use the research. In a couple of weeks, we're going to get you to research a lot more. So we need you to practice and practice. Look, here's one on. Look, here's from the examples. They're actually giving you actual examples. They're giving you an example here and how to write it just in this alone. So do the research on how to write an information report. Then do the research to put into your information report. It doesn't have to come up at the top of your head. In fact, it shouldn't. Because if it's on the top of your head, it becomes opinion, which is persuasive text. If it comes from information that you've gained or gathered, information report from other sources, it becomes an information report. That's a little key distinction there. So if it comes from your mind, it's your opinion, which means you are writing a persuasive text. You might have facts and figures at your hands, like in your mind or at your fingertips, but that's only information that you've stored in your brain to persuade you for liking it or disliking it. You truly need to get information from other sources. So I would look up here, for example, cricket, can't spell, history, the history of cricket. Now, I can't spell that. They've given it to me though. Now, we don't, as scholars, we don't like Wikipedia because it's not that credible. Other people can change it, but for your case, year 3 and year 4, use Wikipedia. Use anything you can get your hands on. So there you go. It was the 1600s. Wow. Oh, it was the 1700s. I'm sorry. 16th century, 1700s. But it was popularized in 18th century. So it gives you a lot of information here. But I would not write word for word, but I would draw information out. So it was probably created during the Saxon and Norman times, and I might go into details. Look, it's a little bit of detail about the Anglo-Saxon times and the Normans. So think about that. Okay, don't write it all down. Draw information out and tell us where you got your information from. So I might even put here since the 17th century. In Kent, which it said there, and then I might put in brackets Wikipedia, comma 2021. It says where I got the information from. You don't have to go into that much detail, but if you would like to tell us where you got information from, all the better, because this makes my information report even more credible. It tells people that it's not my opinion, it's where I got the information from. Just a little thing. You don't have to. I'm just helping you out. Alright, do it on both pages, fill it up, and are you going to settle for 2 pages? Are you going to go, you know what, I'm not quite finished, but it is 2 pages. No. Create more pages, get more and more up. Okay, ask your parents or sibling to read the spelling list to you, and you must write it out without looking. Your spelling list. It's just to test yourself. Give yourself a test. Tell your teacher how you went. It's improving, important. Then write 2 spelling words using one or more. Write 2 sentences using one or more spelling words. And again, what do sentences have? What do they start with? What could be in the middle? What do they end with? Is 4 words a sentence that we want? Not. 4 words isn't a sentence. Could be in year 1, but you're in year 3 and year 4 now. Make a good sentence for us. Make sure it's punctuated. See, look, it says complex sentences. Make them good. Thank you. Bit of crunch and sip. And you're writing the summary. I'll go through it again. Tell us the name of the book. The Hunger Games. Write your summary here. Katniss Everdeen should be capitalized. Dean is volunteers. I can't spell volunteer. To go into a battle royale. That would actually be the quotation marks. It's referencing another movie book series. It was definitely a movie, roughly around the same thing. But you're summarizing it. 3, 4 sentences. Don't tell us the entire story. Just give us a summary of it. Okay, you're not writing it word for word. You're just telling us what happened. Write it down as though we've never read it. Okay? If the teacher has never read it, because most of the time we haven't, write it as though you want to tell us what happened in the story, but we haven't seen it before. So if you say something, oh, Jim went to the shops. Okay? You read the story. You know exactly who Jim is. You know which shopping center they went to. You know how they got there. You know what they bought there. You know who they went there with. You do. All we can read is Jim went to the shops. How are we going to know who, how, what, where, why? Put detail in it to tell us. You've got to tell us a summary, but as though you're telling us the story. We want to know what happened. I hope that makes sense. Write it all down here. Again, more slides if you need them. If you're unhappy with that type of stuff, you can, where is it? You can go to, there it is, layout. I'll give you a blank one. But this one's probably the easiest because it gives you a title, so you can say continued, reading continued, and then write this one. Then have a break again. And here we go. The number talk for today is think of fractions and equivalent fractions. Remember? Equivalent fractions. Fraction is just part of the whole. Parts of a whole. So if there are two wholes and they're split up differently, they're still, and there's the same amount represented, it's still equivalent. So if I have a circle or a pizza, let's say, I cut the pizza in half. And I take one half. I have one out of two pieces, correct? I've had that same pizza, and I cut it into eighths, and I take 4 pieces. I've still got the same amount as I would have the half, because I have 4 out of 8. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So I've still got 1 over 2. It's easier with a visual, but that's an equivalent fraction, as long as they're balanced and they're the same. Garrett and Gage are twins, and their parents don't like them, clearly. They each... Garrett's a nice word, Gage. Are they a character from Tekken or something? They each got their own birthday cake. Interesting. The cakes were the same size and shape. Garrett cut his cake into 8 slices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Gage cut his into 5 slices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 slices of Garrett's cake were eaten. 3 slices of Gage's cake were eaten. Who had more cake left? So you would have to, I personally, to visualize it, I like to do it in numbers. You might want to draw it. So get yourself a spare bit of paper if you want, and draw it down. Draw yourself a cake. Maybe not with the candles, you don't need to go fancy, just a rectangle. Cut it into 8 pieces and cut the other one into 5. Make sure they're the same size. I recommend using one of these guys. If you have one, a ruler. Hello. Because that way you can measure out exactly the size. If you want to visualize it properly, make sure they're the same size. So draw. Ow, I hit myself in the face with that. So I'm going to make my cake 10 centimeters by 2 centimeters. Very narrow cake. Okay, so narrow cakes. My first cake looks like this. That's a cake. That's first cake. Cake number 1. I would split that into 8 pieces. This will be Garrett's cake. Garrett cake. Okay. It's not Punday Monday yet, is it? Okay. Now I'm going to make our favorite video game characters cake. Seriously, who would name their child Gage? I mean, if you're named Gage, please, I apologize. Actually, to be honest with you, if you were named Gage, that would be a pretty cool name. It's starting to grow on me already. Alright, it's grown on me. I'm now going to call my firstborn, boy or girl, Gage. Gage's cake. Can you tell that on my bit of paper that you can see in the bottom left of your screen, They're the same size. Now I would split it into pieces. I would go into 8s, try and make them as even as possible. Then into 5s. Make it even. You might have to do some mathematics. So 10 centimeters divided by 8. How big? 1 and a bit. Fortunately, I have millimeters on the side, but still, split it up. I'm going to do it rough. Why'd you hear me do 7 strokes? Because it's divided in 8 pieces. This is rough. You do yours with ruler. This is rough. So now I have 8 slices. And how many? 4 he took. 1, 2, 3, 4. And how many slices? Cake were eaten and gauge. 4. Wait. So gauge cut 5. 4 slices of Garrett's cake were eaten. 3. Okay. Doesn't exactly give you a good idea. I'll do it this way. Yep. You definitely didn't measure it out. I didn't do my lines very well, but I would recommend drawing it out. That's what I'm saying. Write down what you've done. I drew the pieces. I drew the cakes. Blah blah blah. Write it down here. Everything. Don't write the answer. Just write the thought process. Number patterns. Question. Have a look. To continue number pattern. So have a look at this example. Then write. I'll then complete the question. So 10, 14, 18, 22. It's plus 4. 10 plus 4 is 14. So they're giving you the example. That's the question. And this is what you would do. So you're going to write down what you're adding by, multiplying by, subtracting by, dividing by, whatever it is. And then you're going to finish the equation. So we're going to go to questions. 19, 16, 13, 10. What's next? What's next? What's next? And what are we subtracting by? I know it's subtraction because it's decreasing. It's going down in numbers. So what is it subtracting by? I would write it in here. Should I give you the first answer? There's plenty of questions. I'm going to give you the first one. It's minus 3. So each one is minus 3. Oh, that's 13. So why would we put 1 for each? Because in number patterns, sometimes it's not the same number. It could be minus 3, minus 2, minus 3, minus 2. Yeah. You have to work that out. So each is minus 3, blah, 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 minus 3, minus 3, minus 3 in there, and that would be 7. That one would be 4. That one will be 1. And what would the next one be? Negative 2. Smart. But do the rest for these ones. Have a look, work it out on paper. I grabbed a bit of paper. I worked mine out. Mathematics is supposed to be done on paper, people. Paper, people? It's supposed to be done on paper. If you try and do mathematics in your head, the whiteboard in your head erases really, really quickly. If you write it down on paper, it doesn't go anywhere. It stays there and you can visualize what you're doing. It's harder to visualize in your head. Trust me, mathematics is supposed to be worked out. I've got a few of those, but mine was pretty simple. And then spend some time playing this number pattern game. Oh, they've given you a game online too. So finish this. Oh, the Fibonacci sequence. This is a bit of extension for you, but so you've got two slides to do and an extension if you want. It's extension. I recommend doing it. You challenge yourself. I've got a few of my students who challenge themselves. Go back to fitness stuff. So you want to do 15 sit-ups, 10 push-ups, 20 star jumps, 15 squats where your arms are out. You bend down. Your legs have to be in the number 7. So basically your thighs are parallel or horizontal parallel basically to the ground. So you go from up, down, up. All the way down. And then jog on the spot for 1 minute. Yeah. Have a bit of lunch after that. And by the way, fitness, I don't mind when you do it. You can do it straight just before lunch, get the blood flowing, but if you feel like you need to get the blood flowing after reading, do it there. We don't mind. And the piece de resistance, the final activity, Friday afternoon activity. Make the Olympic rings using stuff at your home. I want to do this in I'm going to do this in this accent. I'm liking it. Make the Olympic rings with household items. Remember, it's blue, black, and red on top. The bottom row is yellow and green. Take a photo or draw your creation. It's hard to do. And there you have it. If you've got to the end of this video, please, let's see. I want you to go through and I want you to delete or put a line through each success criteria. So you're going to either delete it or get the line tool or piece of paper if you're doing it from home on paper. Put a line through it. Delete. Delete. All of them. All the success criteria labels. Delete them all. Gotta delete them all. And that way we know that you've watched it to the end of the slide. Have a great weekend, everyone. Relax, take care. Better things are to come. We keep pushing on. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.